Now, former President Jacob Zuma and the uMkhonto weSizwe political party will today face off with the South African Broadcasting Corporation in the Gauteng High Court in Johannesburg. And this over the use of the term Government of National Unity, or GNU. Now, the MK party filed urgent papers in the High Court in July to challenge the SABC's use of the term. The MK party is asking the High Court to, among other things, declare the conduct of the SABC as unconstitutional and invalid, alleging that it constitutes a breach of the public broadcaster's independence and public mandate. Zuma contends that the use of the GNU term deliberately misleads the public. Prior to this action, the SABC recently responded to the party's cease and desist, describing the MK party's allegations as untenable. The public broadcaster will oppose the MK's application. Well, for more on this story, let's take you now to SABC News reporter Canny Maphanga, who will be watching this for us. Canny, good morning. So again, we find ourselves in a situation whereby this is around a term that is being used, a term not coined by the SABC, but of course the SABC being taken to court for using the term all the same. But just outline for us the merits and, of course, what the MK will be arguing today.
Well, indeed, good morning to you, Sakina, and to the viewers at home. Well, of course, you're right. The term Government of National Unity emanates from the 7th administration and a changing political landscape, which saw the ANC have to change the manner in which it does things because it did not receive an outright majority in the 2024 national and provincial elections. Now, all media houses and the media landscape, rather, Sakina, have been using the term Government of National Unity, or GNU as it has been dubbed. However, the MK party, as well as the former President Jacob Zuma, are contending that what we're seeing in the country right now in the political landscape rather does not fit the definitional elements of a GNU. We'll see the MK party, as well as the former President Jacob Zuma, argue for a constitutional challenge to the SABC's use of the term. That'll be before the urgent court that is sitting before Judge Yaqub this morning. They'll seek a declarator which will effectively stop the SABC from using that term if they're successful. Of course, the SABC did file papers on the eve of this court application vehemently opposing this bid by the MK party and the former president to stop the SABC from using the term Government of National Unity and GNU. Remember, the MK will be arguing that majority of South Africans, that is millions of viewers and listeners, rely on the South African Broadcasting Corporation, rather known as the public broadcaster, as their primary news source, and will argue that this allegedly deliberately misleads the public by using these two specific terms in order to describe the politics of the day or what informs the 7th administration. Of course, as I said earlier, the SABC will be vehemently opposing this application before the court, and then of course in opposing it they'll say that it is an abusive process and it is a vexatious litigation. They'll also argue that there aren't any explanations behind the constitutional probe that the MK party is trying to make. So the rights that they're saying, the fundamental rights that they are arguing are being infringed upon by the SABC using this term, they haven't spelt it out in papers what exactly those rights are and how they're being contravened by the public broadcaster by using this term. Of course, the SABC will also seek costs. They'll state that the MK party and the former president isn't protected by the BioWatch principle. Remember, that principle speaks to public interest litigants who may bring a case that is centered on the constitutional or asserts fundamental rights, and it protects them from that fear of costs should they lose a case against the state. Of course, the SABC will be seeking those costs from the MK party should they lose this application, arguing that it is an abuse of process and a vexatious litigation by the MK party. We expect that this urgent court roll will kick off in the Gauteng High Court in Johannesburg at 10 a.m. this morning. We're not sure when the matter will be called, but I do think, however, Sakina, that the parties will not be able to get to the substance of the matter today, because remember, you are making a constitutional probe, or you're asking a court to invalidate the conduct of a particular party based on the constitution. This is not usually what sits in the urgent court. We usually see matters like this sitting in the ordinary role. So the MK party has quite a big task of proving first that this matter is urgent, and only then will the court be able to entertain the merits.